Hello and welcome to Morning Brew on Labour Social. Sorry, technical problems this morning. Wrong thumbnail. Can't change it for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, it's Friday the 29th of March 2024 and new immigration statistics are out. And non-EU immigration is through the roof. I found the Brexit benefit. Oh my God, here it is. We are now paying billions, because this is also coupled. So we're taking people from non-EU countries. The majority of those people are going to be coming from the 55 other countries of the Commonwealth, with the exclusion, I guess, of Malta and Cyprus. No, I suppose Malta and Cyprus as well. They're also part of the EU. But the point being that we've now said, or the Tory government's now said, that people can't bring their families over. They can't bring their families here. So what do you think the people who are coming over here from India, from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Guyana, where do you think their money's going to go? Possibly to their families, still in the countries in which they came from? So that means that you've got over 1.3 million people who came in 1 year sending money every week back to their families in the countries where they came from. That means, stay with me here, if each of those millions of people, 1.3 million, if each of them sends at least £1,000 a year back to Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, never part of Bhutan, Sri Lanka, that's a billion. That's a billion. 1,000 million is over a billion. Well, it's 1.3 million times 1,000 is 1.3 billion. And that's money going out of our country. That's money that we're paying for services and things like that, and for the NHS, and for people to work here. And then they're taking that money and then it's going out the country. So what I want us to do, instead of saying that as a bad thing, because, you know, we're becoming poorer as a country as a consequence of that, because money is flowing out of our country, and there's bugger all money coming in because, you know, like Brexit. But we can see this as a positive, right? We are levelling down the UK, but, my friends, we are levelling up developing nations that we screwed over in the past. This is reparations. It's actually really good, kind of, if it wasn't so bad for the fact that there's 14.4 million people in the UK now living in poverty. I mean, we want to have a balance. I'm all for reparations. I really am. I've seen the damage that the British Empire and then the era of colonization did. Sorry, slavery and then the era of colonization did. The overarching thing of empire, what it did to the world, what it did to other countries. My least favorite statistic is that when Britain invaded India, when they first invaded India in 1600, under the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, the East India Company first went to India in 1600. And when it went there, India was the richest country on the planet at that time. The richest. It had the most gold, or whatever they, shekels, drachmas, whatever they had back then. Rubles. No, that's rupees. They had the most money. When we left in the late 40s, during partition, just before partition, we were supposed to give it a 5-year transition period. Ended up being 6 months. 1 million people died. That was nice, wasn't it? That was nice of us. Anyway, when we left, it was one of the poorest countries in the world. We took one of the richest countries in the world, rested around for 300 years, made it one of the poorest. All that wealth went somewhere. I wouldn't like to guess where. Maybe into the crowns of the royal family. Maybe. Anyway, the point being that the dickheads who voted for Brexit and for the Tories in the hope that they would see fewer brown faces in the supermarket, not only are they now seeing many more people from other parts of the world, not Europe, they're also experiencing the biggest shift in wealth from this country to developing nations in history. Because I know we're supposed to give money, overseas aid. That's been cut. That's been cut by the Tories, direct overseas aid. I know it's really nice when we give money and we feel good about ourselves. We give money to comic relief and children in need and then to Live Aid and stuff like that. And we go, oh, great. Honestly, overall, it's a bit of a drop in the ocean compared with what these countries need. And plus, because it's charity, and look, I've raised money for charity. I've raised money for the UN Human Refugee Commission, High Commission on Refugees. I've also raised money for Water Aid, and I understand how charities work, okay? Look, not all that money that you give to these charities, you know that not all of it's going to go to the people in those countries because there's always barriers. And as Rory Stewart never tires of saying, the best way to get aid to people is by giving them money. Like literally go into a village, you can either give an NGO some money to come and build some wells and some toilets that never get used, or you can give the money directly to the people who live in that village, and the people who live in the village, you will get more bang for your buck if you give them the money, right? So if you think about this system that we have now, where we've said, come over here, work in our NHS, we're not going to allow you to bring your family over, so any leftover money at the end of the month is going to go back to their family in, like I say, Nigeria or Ghana or Sierra Leone. That means that money's going directly to people. It's not going to some government commission. It's not going to pay the wages of people working in Africa, in South America, in Asia. No. It's going directly to the people who live there. So this is the most effective form of reparations we could possibly pay. And the glorious thing about this is this was put in place by the gammon. The gammon put all the pieces in place for this to be the case because they were like, oh, we don't want people coming from the EU here and working without being given permission. Okay, all right, well, we'll do something to reduce immigration from the EU. Okay, what should we do? Well, let's pull out the EU. Well, that's going to knacker us economically, but let's do it anyway. Okay, so we did that, and then it was like, oh no, there's people coming from other countries outside of Europe, and they're bringing their family. Oh, no pearls shall go unclutched. What should we do? Oh, I know, I've got it. Why don't we stop them bringing their families over? And I'm sitting there going, okay, that's going to result in literally billions of pounds of money flowing out of the UK into developing nations. Yeah. And you good with that? Because I'm good with that. I am genuinely good with that. I just get this impression that the Gams might not be. If only they were watching, getting enraged. Anyway, sorry we got the wrong thumbnail. I will fix that in post. So it will be the correct thumbnail. It was a bit funnier. Buy yourself an egg, Graham, or 5 from Lidl. Oh, thank you so much, Paul, for that super chat. That's really kind of you. We got the first super chat of Good Friday. So it's Good Friday today. Everyone else has got a day off. I don't, because, no rest for the wicked. There's something that people say about ADHD people. They don't go to sleep. They just pass out. And it's very true. I think I put in a 13-hour day yesterday. 13 hours. I'm looking at it like, what do I have to show for this? And I've done loads of stuff, but no one ever sees it. But never mind. But yeah, it is Good Friday. And also, it's an extra special day because it's not just the day. Jesus. It's also this week, the 1-year anniversary of Labour Social. We've been going for 1 year between me and Phil and Rachel and Aid and Super Tansky. We have put together over 700 episodes of content, short form, long form, live, pre-recorded, all kinds of stuff for you lovely people watching this. We've done that, and I'm so proud of what we've achieved in the last year. Obviously, we're going to be putting our foot down on the way to the election, which might come in June. They're talking about having it on the first day of Glastonbury, to try and... They're not going to win. John Curtis, the polling expert, saying that Labour 99% likely to form the next government. 99%. There's like a cautious poller. But we can't get ahead of ourselves because the Tories are putting every dirty trick in the book voter ID. They're making sure that the propaganda machine is going. There was a guy this week saying that he needed a fish and chip shop in Uxbridge, and it turned out that it was just a data collecting exercise where you sign up and they can send you propaganda, Tory propaganda, saying, "Oh my God, look at how bad Angela Rayner is," and you're like, "Oh, what did someone facilitate an £800,000 loan for her?" And then you gave that person the position of the head of the BBC. I don't recall that happening. Did Angela Rayner prorogue Parliament illegally? I don't remember. Was Angela Rayner partying? Was she partying while at the same time telling the rest of us that we couldn't go and visit our mums? No, don't think so. Graham sounds like you have a sore throat. Hope you feel better soon. Yeah, I just had a little bit of a primal scream before this started because I was so frustrated that everything was like perfect, and then I went, "Oh, I haven't updated the thumbnail. I have to update the thumbnail," and then the edit button wouldn't work, so I was like, stabbing it. But yeah, anyway, we're about halfway through the show. I'm going to read some of your comments. Graham, they don't have to be paid a decent wage, which the Tories are dead against. To have money to send back home. Yeah, but they are paid a decent wage because they're in this country and you've got minimum wage in this country thanks to Labour. So there's this lie about people coming over from other countries and they get paid less. We can't really do that. I mean, people try to. I'm very sure they try to, but it is illegal. It is definitely illegal for them to do that too because it undercuts British workers. Because obviously, like, if you can afford to pay people, if you can get someone to build your house and they're from Bangladesh and you're only going to pay them £3 an hour, but British person wants £30 an hour, then do you know what I mean? Like, you got to go with the Bangladeshi people and not give the British people a job. So that's something that the Tories have made sure that doesn't really happen anymore. So that's another factor. Like, there will be money left over. And like I say, even if it's only £1,000 a year, it's still 1.3 billion just for the people who've come in the year after the COVID pandemic. I mean, it's gone up. Mark saying blocked again. Oh, I hate being blocked. He's actually written on the screen there. Where's G? Our DMB crew used to hold a gathering on Good Fridays, had a big mix-up and party, not to celebrate Easter or peace deals. Just next used to play very loud drum and bass. Well done, Wes. That's what baby Jesus would have wanted. And Jez Hunt says the thing I'm about to talk about now because I think that we need a laugh. We need a laugh, don't we? Don't we? Did you see that Larry Fox, loser Fox, messed up his paperwork for London Mayor? There was a brilliant comment on this because I did a short on it yesterday. It said he needed 9 votes and he needed 10 votes and he only got 9, or he actually needed, I think, 10 signatures. He got 9, and someone commented under that, the computer says 9. Oh, so good. A language porn. Just everything about it. That comment was perfect. Thank you, whoever it was who left that comment. You made my day. But yeah, so this is the story about Lawrence Fox, who went off on one about his ex-wife, which we assume he's talking about Billie Piper, earlier this week, accusing her of being a junkie. Like, that's the word he used in then a hastily deleted post on Twitter. And then he posted yesterday to say that he'd failed to fill out his paperwork correctly for his application to become London Mayor. Oh my word! And therefore he won't be running. So he's actually no one voted for him. Like, literally, he didn't even vote for himself. Of course, it's someone else's fault. He's one of those. You must know some people in your life who never take responsibility for anything. It's always someone else's fault. You will never hear the words, "I effed up," out of their mouths, because as far as they are concerned, the whole world's against them and out to get them. And they do everything right, and just people put obstacles in the way. And I just want to say this proudly right now. I've fucked up so many times in my past. And you know what? We do. We all do. We're human, and learn from it. Move on and apologize where necessary. But Lawrence Fox is part of a a whole generation of wankers who went to private school. He went to Harrow, who've been given everything to them handed on a plate, on a silver platter, actually. Screw plates. And these people honestly believe that they deserve everything, they deserve the world. And if they decide they want to be an actor, they can be an actor, even though they're not very good at acting. They want to be a singer, they can be a singer, even though they're terrible at singing, like Lawrence Fox. Oh my God, he's awful. And if they want to be a politician, they can be a politician because they'll be good at that. And they've just got so little self-awareness. All they've got is ego. He's just like a walking massive ego that he's the best person to do this. The rest of us are riddled with self-doubt. The rest of us are riddled with, what do you call it? Imposter syndrome. I get imposter syndrome a lot. I really do. It doesn't help that when I do mention that I've been to every country in the world without flying, the natural reaction of people is like, "Oh, Graham, are you going on about that again?" But I have to say it now and again just to prove to myself that I've done it. I've got my Guinness World Records certificate on the wall over there, so I can see it while I'm filming, and I could just go, "Okay, yeah, I did do that thing that I thought that I did." But now, honestly, years later, it feels like I watched someone else on TV do that journey. That's how weird it is. That's how weird imposter syndrome is. It doesn't feel like I wrote my own book. It doesn't feel like I did the audio version of my own book, Man of the World, available from all good bookshops. Here's a copy of it here, man. Oh no, that's not mine. That's not mine. This is mine. Oh no, hang on. That's James O'Brien's. Oh bollocks. This is. Oh, that's not mine either. Empire World, very good. Happy nightmares, kids. Oh no, here's my book. There you go, Man of the World. You can get this from all bad booksellers. And if you buy enough of them, I might write a sequel. Anyway, they aren't very clever. Says Roger. No, they're not. But I just think that this Lawrence Fox debacle just speaks to how removed from the real world so many of these toffs, I'm going to call them toffs, so many of these lucky people who were lucky enough to have rich parents who could afford the £30,000 a term it costs to go to Harrow or Eton or whatever. They just don't see their own good fortune. They just think that, yeah, well, that's natural, isn't it? Yeah, that's just the way it is. There was a woman who became my 1,048th name on the private school mafia list, who had responded to a comment by Grace Barkley, who is that the right name? I think Grace. She's got a book out called Vulture Capitalism, and she put a tweet out saying that capitalism ruins people's lives. And this woman said, "No, well, actually, capitalism gave me a great education. Capitalism gave me a job. Capitalism opened all these doors for me." And I'm like, okay, I'm going to look you up. So I looked her up on LinkedIn. It turned out she went to a school that now charges £44,000 a year education fees to learn. £44,000 for your kid to go to school. And that's a year, for 5 years, between the ages of 13 and 18. I mean, and she's like, "Oh, well, capitalism is wonderful, isn't it?" She deleted her tweets. I wonder why. Well, they just don't get it. And this is why we need to point it out. And this is why when people go, "Oh, well, not everyone who went to private school is bad." And I'm like, yes, I know, but the fact remains that it's such an unfair system, and it allows people like Lawrence Fox to rise to positions which they should never be anywhere near. Matt Hancock, Boris Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg, like those people, if they were born in a sinker state, they'll be in jail. They'll be dead. There'll be nothing left of them. They'll be off their heads on meth. In some squalid flat. These people have got nothing about them. They've got no intrinsic talents. All they've got is money. They come from money. And you need money to make money. You got money, you got power in this country. And also, and this is the bit that pisses me off, you get deference. And if there's one thing, a magic switch, magic one that I could have and go, I'd get rid of the deference in the UK. Well, actually, specifically in England, I don't think it's as bad in Scotland. I don't think it's as bad in Northern Ireland. I don't think it's as bad in Wales. I think it's just like a peculiarly English thing. If you have a regional accent, well, he's obviously an idiot, doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, Graham, you might have been to every country in the world. and you might have a degree in politics and history, but you see, what you don't understand is, and then just repeat something that you've read in the Daily Mail. Not great. Not a great one. My depression comes with derealization. I already feel like the world isn't real. That's from Duke Vengeance. Yeah, I get that, and it's difficult. It is difficult, and so many people that I know, and so many people probably watching this, are really suffering right now because of the Tories. I've said this before about the Tories. It's not just like one rule for them and one rule for the rest of us. One reality for them and another reality for the rest of us. And struggling to pay the bills and having to do, spreadsheets of ins coming in and going out, and just try and keep on top of it all, and not not giving yourself treats, and making sure that your weekly shop is as cheap as possible. Just get the bare basics, and it's just it's not great. It's not a great situation that we're in at the moment in this country. But I assure you, it will get better. As soon as these cowboys, dickheads, arseholes, as soon as they are out of office, it will, I swear, it will get better. Maybe not overnight, but, and it won't be a tsunami of amazing stuff that just appears, but things will get better. And the Tories are absolutely freaking out right now. And I'll show you how much they're freaking out, because we'll go to the papers now. We've got the Times there, clean up your own mess. Thames Water want to put prices up by 40% to clean up all the sewage that they've put in. Another taxing day for Rayner. This is the Murdoch Press having a go at Angela Rayner. The Rothermere Press here. These two papers owned by billionaires who don't live in this country. And there you go. Rayner's on the ropes apparently, because all the bad things that the Tories have done, which are legion, ignore them because Angela Rayner bought her own council house or something, and there's no problem with the tax. It's just like she took advice on what she should do in terms of selling the house, and she's not publishing that advice because that's confidential. It's not the same as a tax return, which is if it's for a business, it's public, but for a public person, it's a little bit different. But yeah, they're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, which the newspapers love to do, because they're trying to find anything. They're absolutely desperate at the moment, absolutely desperate. PM under fire over honour for top donor. I mean, that's actually a better story in the Tory graph, but. Yeah, basically they've given honours now in the Easter weekend. Apparently there's Easter honours now. We've got New Year's honours, PM leaving honours, Easter honours. Just any chance to fill up the House of Lords with their cronies, they'll take it. Doesn't matter if they support the IRA like Claire Fox, or if they're just mad Brexit liars like Daniel Hannan, or if they're only famous for once tweeting a picture of their own cock, like Ian Botham. Taxpayers may be forced to bail out Thames Water as customers face 40% hike in bills. That's from the The Eye. And then we've got the Star here, the full Nelson. We've got slow sleet rain, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Well, they said this last weekend and nothing happens, but whatever. Famine is setting in. This is a horrific story about Gaza. The UN court orders Israel to unblock Gaza aid. There's a border crossing in from Egypt where all this aid is waiting to come into Gaza, and the Israelis are not letting it in, which to me feels like a crime against humanity. Disgrace. Fat cat water bottles under fire, which is what should be on the front cover of nearly all of the newspapers. Well, all of the newspapers actually, because this is a disgusting story. The since privatization in 1990, was it, when the water companies became privatized and we got all that choice? Here in Durham we can have Northumbria Water or Northumbria Water. If you live down in London, you can have Thames Water, or you can have Thames Water. And if you live in Liverpool, it's United Utilities, or stay with me on this one, United Utilities. So, great. Customer choice. Yay. Perfectly normal island. But they're pumping literally billions of litres of shit into our rivers every year. And they're saying, well, you're going to have to pay for that. We're not going to pay for that. And they've borrowed a disgusting amount because they need to make money for their shareholders who may not even be in the United Kingdom. So someone in, I don't know, Bahrain is making a shitload of money out of their stock that they own in one of our water companies. And again, I guess, is this another form of reparations? We're just sending this money that we're paying for our water that should be making it so that our sewage, because it's not just our water, it's our sewage as well, that it's not being treated because, I like money. Save lives for Martin. This is about the arena victim from the Manchester arena bombing report inspired by gig goers' mum to demand safer venues, which is a good thing. Show me yours, I'll show you mine. I've done nothing wrong. That's again the Independent going after Angela Rayner. The agony aunt and Angela Rayner. Yeah, indeed. So you can see there. There's a certain tone that the newspapers are setting up. Oh God, we've got to be on Labour finally. Haha, we've got to be on Labour. Let's go for it. He's a 2-year-old roadrunner. 31 Blaze says it's sad how Fiona Hill told the story of being from the Northeast meant she was overlooked for jobs in the UK, but she ended up advising the White House in the US because they don't care. Yeah, 31 Blades, exactly the same experience I've had. Exactly the same experience. In other countries, they don't care. In Australia, they don't care. In the US, they do not care. It's just in this country, if you have a regional accent, there's a level you can't get above. Unless you are incredibly lucky. Or you're, I don't know, in the 60s, things were better. In the 70s, things were better. In terms of social mobility, you'd have actors like Michael Caine or Sean Connery who came from working class backgrounds who could actually make it as Hollywood stars. That never happens now. Nearly everyone who's won an Oscar from Britain in the last 20 years, with the exception of Gary Oldman, went to private school. And that includes Christopher Nolan, the director of Oppenheimer and The Dark Knight and all that jazz. Currygate 2, taxing Angela's house. Yeah, Johnny, you're absolutely right there, mate. It is just Currygate 2. But Angela Rayner, because they're trying to get rid, because they know that Angela Rayner's popular, and they know that she represents an argument against the whole, I don't want to be told what to do by Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer because they're not my people. Whereas it's hard for people from up north to say that Claire Rayner isn't their people. I mean, she's working class. She was a mum at the age of 15. She's gone through it, and she's remarkable in the fact that she's done that and she's come out the other side. And I've seen her speak at a debate before the 2019 election. She was really, really good. She was more articulate than the leader at the time, to be honest with you, and better in debate, just warm and affable and got people on side, which we need. And so that's why they're targeting Angela Rayner, because they see her as a big threat because she's got what they'll call the common touch. She's got the common touch, as they drink their ludicrously expensive brandy and laugh about poor people. I've contacted United Utilities a few times now about the sewage dump. They never got back to me. Bastards. It needs to be nationalised. All of it. Nationalised tomorrow. Much of the privatisation process in the 80s and 90s simply created regional monopolies rather than actual competition. Well, yeah, exactly, Puny. You're absolutely right. I mean, it's madness, isn't it? That we have a situation in which we don't have a choice. They say, it's good to have competition. That's capitalism, yeah. And then you're like, okay, what choice do we have? Well, we don't actually have any choice. I mean, we're not gonna give you any kind of choice. I mean, that would be silly. That'd be ridiculous. Showing how weak they really are, says Leanne Scott. Yeah, how dare a working class woman, let alone a northern one, own a house, own a home and earn money? I know. Gets right up their nasal passages. I had to work very hard for my title. Had to type it into Google and everything. Where's that clip of Dominic Raab saying the police don't investigate old crimes? Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's always a clip, isn't there? Nepotism babies. Yeah. Nepo babies. They make their dreams come true. And then if it doesn't go right, they blame it all on you. That to the tune of Muppet Babies, if you're old enough to remember that. I'll just have a list of different Tory crimes to mention if I was a Labour MP. Yeah, just start listing them and don't stop. Those who own newspapers demanding people show their accounts and taxes should go first. Well, exactly. I couldn't agree more. It's really ridiculous, isn't it? Leslie says hi from Scotland. Hello. Vendetta says blocked. Oh no, Vendetta. I'm sorry. Are you saying that I should be blocked, or are you saying that you're blocked because your comments just come up? There's an automated system. It basically, if it doesn't like your comment, it doesn't come up because otherwise it'll come up on the screen. And I can't have stuff that is racist or xenophobic or mean, nasty, transphobic, homophobic, or anti-Semitic, Islamophobic. I can't have any of that come up on the screen. So it sometimes gets it wrong. Anyway, it is Easter crumpet time. Enjoy your hot cross buns, which is the maddest thing ever. Like, hot cross buns are crazy. Like, seriously, it's got a thing that they used to kill people with, crosses on a bun, on a sticky bun with raisins in it. I mean, okay. Bit weird. You know, if he had been hung, would we be having, I don't know, like some kind of donuts in the shape of nooses? Would that be the thing that we would have on Good Friday? I don't, and also, why is it good? He died this day. Surely Easter Sunday should be the good. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And also, they say on the third day. Okay, well, I suppose it is the third, but it's only really 2 days, isn't it? Till Sunday. Anyway, roll on Nep Zero. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna write that down. Sorry, I'm gonna steal that and fob it off as my own. Thank you so much, Don Duda. Roll on Nep Zero. Oh, you've just named our new campaign. Thank you very much. I see Yvette Cooper is now a cartoon character in the Private Eye as the Riddler, nemesis of Batshit Man. Where is this week's Private Eye? This is this week's Private Eye. I don't know if you've seen this. I think I showed it the other day. Oh, it's just brilliant. For God's sake, just leave Case alone. Special 94-page, leave Case alone, superhero supplement. Brilliant, love it. Spring equinox is 3 days, I think. Okay, anyway, right. So thank you very much for joining me this morning here on Morning Brew. And yeah, like I say, it's a 1 year anniversary, so we're planning to do a bit of a special edition of the Labour Social tonight at 9 o'clock. So please join us for that. It'll be a good laugh. We'll be cracking open a couple of beers and celebrating 1 year without getting banned off the internet or sued so far. Touch wood. Yay! If you want to see us before then, I'll be having a chat, a roundup of the week with Phil Morehouse at 1 o'clock in the agenda. So if you want to join us for that, we'll be chatting, maybe not agreeing on everything, discussing our opinions on what's been happening in the news and across politics. So please join us for that. And it'll be live and interactive, as our shows usually are. And until then, I'll say thank you very much for watching. Thanks for the super chats. And thanks for the chat. Give us a like on the way out. Please don't forget to do that. Subscribe if you want to leave comments on future shows. And if you want to become a patron or a YouTube member, that'd be really helpful. Keep us going for another year. if we can. I'm willing if you are. Yeah. So thanks very much for watching. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, and goodbye.